In brightest day, in blackest night, all other podcasts tremble in fright. Losers cower before the power. Oranges lust and blues you can trust. Indigos feel and white ones heal. Yellows scare and green ones dare. That sapphire love and black hands glove will rock your foundation without hesitation. Chad and Marge face evil's might. Respect their power, for they'll make you see the light. Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Bokelman.
I'm Mark Marble.
And this is the LanternCast.
Episode 305.
That's right. We are catching up on Green Lanterns, the title. We will be talking about Green Lanterns number 32, which is the final issue of Sam Humphrey's run on the book. And then Green Lanterns 33 and 34, which is the first two-issue story arc of the new creative team with Tim Seeley. Whew. How was your Christmas?
And no, we're not looking for filler immediately. It was okay, all things being equal. How about yours?
It was good. I got a lot of comic book stuff. It's funny, I posted about this on Facebook the other day, or today, I don't remember. But it was beginning of December-ish, like the 8th or so. I was doing research because we were talking about it'd be cool to see some more Alien Lanterns featured. So I used Metaphil as a reference. So it's like, well, when have we seen Metaphil in other major issues? And there was an issue during Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run. So I was like, all right, that's interesting. So I read up on that story, and I was like, I guess I got to find that issue. And then I was like, all right, well, it sounds like this is part of an arc, though. Swamp Thing in space doing stuff on various planets. That's kind of intriguing. What are these other stories? Oh, that's interesting. All right, what's the arc before that? So, long story short, Alan Moore's The Saga of the Swamp Thing entire run ends up on my wish list. And Q2 today, less than a month later, I now have volumes 1 through 5 on my shelf. I'm still missing 6.
It's good to see you're not an easy mark, Chad.
That's right. I'm still missing, ironically, I'm still missing volume 6, which is the volume that collects the run, the story arc that had the Green Lantern Metaphil appearance in it that got me interested in the first place. But whatever. Beggars can't be choosers, and somebody spent a lot of money to get me all these books. So that was funny. And guess who finally sent me some stuff that he's been hanging on to all these years?
Yeah, I know, because I got a box too. So.
He threw in a couple of extra goodies, I think. So.
Yeah, it was a surprise. It was very, very generous of him.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Ford is such a good guy. All right, so this is the last episode of 2017. So we're going to close it out right. By saying goodbye to Sam Humphries.
Oh, God. If we were going to close it out right, maybe we should have just let the Star Wars one stand alone, maybe.
All right, man. You're taking 32 because I deemed it so.
Well, I was thinking. Well, see, I wasn't really going to even point the finger at you. I was going to say I got this issue because essentially I was asking for it from the perspective of I just really didn't feel like doing 2 of the 3 issues this episode, so I just pretty much said whichever one you don't want, I'll take. So of course, logically, the one I would have handed off to me would be 32, which is it the most horrible issue we've ever read? No, but is it like earth-shatteringly interesting? No. It's certainly a really odd way to end the run, I would say. It's almost like, well, it's like the timing just worked out where there wasn't any there. He was kind of like, there really isn't time to do another arc because I already planned on wrapping up the previous arc with the issue before, so I'll just do kind of like a quote-unquote feel-good issue and then walk out the door. Whether we feel good about it is a whole other story. I have the variant cover on this one.
The Jessica with Simon's foot in it?
Assuming it's his foot, yeah. I didn't think it was... I
what?
wasn't going there. I just mean, I wouldn't have even assumed it was a body part, in all honesty. I just would have thought like it was some kind of construct or something, but... So does the regular one match up with this?
The regular one is Simon and Jessica in the center of a party and then lighting up as green lanterns with the energy swirling around them.
So where does the rest of Simon with his foot match this cover with something? Is it another issue's variant cover? Or is it just...
I don't think so. I don't think it's next issue's variant or last issue's variant.
No, it's not next issue's variant because I actually have the variant for 33 too. Only 34 I have the standard cover on. So
let me pull up 31 to see if that was a variant for 31. Yeah, I'm gonna have to scoot backwards a bit here. Let's see here. A little bit of a lag on this little Amazon Fire, but given the amount of money I spent on it, that's completely acceptable.
And besides,
nope. The variant for 31 was the one with Simon with all the rings on it.
All right, so I guess there was no logical reason why I would have naturally assumed it was his foot. I guess it kind of looks like a foot, but it could. But who the hell knows?
Stop digging yourself into this hole. Just recap this.
I think I could. If it was something else, I probably could. I don't know. All right, let's jump into this grand finale of Green Lantern 32. Where's the creative team on the back page? Yes, it is. So let's go through that stuff first. House Party, cute little graphic there too. Humphreys, the writer. Godlewski Scott Godlewski is the artist. Wi-Fi colors. Dave Sharp letters. Federici and Morey did the cover. Brandon Peterson did the variant cover. Marino Cotton and Chad's favorite Eddie Berganza are the editors. So we begin in Portland, Oregon, with Jessica and Simon kind of like dealing, I guess, with the fallout from their great Volthoom adventure. Jessica's been sleeping for like 30 hours straight, and she's still tired. So they're doing whatever they. Well, it's kind of like it's like a running gag. It's like they always. It's kind of like in Ice Age, how friggin' Scrat can never get that friggin' nut. It's like that. How Jessica and Simon can never ever sit down and have a full pancake breakfast. It just seems like there's always something that gets in the way. So they're chit-chatting and they're sitting down to eat their pancakes. As soon as they eat their pancakes, of course, there's an alert. Code 312, location Earth, unauthorized alien, blah. And Simon and Jessica fly out of there. So they go to California, and they're dealing with this. This is a weird thing too. It kind of looks like the Thing and Ultron jammed into one rocky body, almost like the Abomination's face too, or even Tomar-Ray in rock form. But
Balrog.
Yeah, that's another possibility. And guess what? This thing's not even a sentient. It is an asteroid automaton, whatever the F that is. Give him thumbs up for coming up with a cute term at least. It's like, what the hell? What? I don't know. So, I mean, Cyborg checks in, tells him basically from the Watchtower, if you need help, we kind of like have the Flash and Wonder Woman on standby. Of course, Simon, before he even knows what he's dealing with entirely, just says, "Oh no, we got this. Don't worry about it." Jessica and Simon start dealing with this automaton here, and they kind of have a flashback to Jon Stewart, kind of like telling them that, hey, you guys have done pretty well on Earth, but Earth is it's one planet in your entire sector, so basically branch out of your comfort zone, yada yada. So Jessica was kind of like off doing her own thing briefly, leaving Simon to kind of like deal with the automaton all by himself. But of course, Jessica shows up again, helps Simon take him out. They create two energy constructs, and they clobber this thing and somehow that stops it. And, Jessica's like, the emergency crew's got the rest. It's like, we can get pancakes now. And Simon's like, no, we got to make a stop first. So they go back to Dearborn, Michigan. And, of course, unfortunately for Jessica, there's this house party going on. And, of course, Jessica doesn't entirely freak out, but she's afraid she's going to freak out because of her anxiety. And, Simon shows up, and everybody's all seemingly happy to see him, except for his sister. Sierra's not entirely happy. Nazir's not entirely happy about Simon. And they, of course, Nazir and Simon, being mature as they are, they pretty much say nothing to each other at first and then start yelling at each other. And, she eventually, Sierra pretty much locks them into the bathroom, and which is kind of it's just naturally set up this way for, I guess, because it's a party and people are going to need to use the bathroom. I think that's kind of part of the attempted humor here, to just put them instead of locking them in a bedroom somewhere, let's lock them into the bathroom. And I don't necessarily think they react the normal way people would do in the bathroom. I don't think the first instinct for somebody would be to hop up on the sink and for the other guy to literally stand in the walk-in shower. I'm assuming it's a walk-in shower. It'd be even weird if he walked into the tub. But needless to say, as soon as they're locked away, Sierra takes Jessica by the hand and is like, hey, it's a party, let's have fun. I kind of thought Sierra acted a little out of character a little bit in this issue. Now we meet Tina, who is I guess Sierra's close friend, and I guess Sierra's talked about Jessica to Tina, and Tina's like, oh, you're the Jessica. And I was like, hey, Simon was the annoying little brother, so if you want any dirt, just come to me. And she's like, really, what you got? And just conveniently enough, miraculously enough, they have that. She's got a picture right ready of Nazir and Simon, who don't look anything like Nazir and Simon. I guess back when all I do is party and stupid T-shirts and visors on and everything like that. And
frosted tips.
Yeah, frosted tips. It really in chains. It looks really almost nothing like these characters. Meanwhile, we get to the requisite two people knocking on the bathroom because they got to pee, and Simon and Nazir are just going off on each other, and basically Simon's accusing him of not being supportive and not understanding that he's got a really important job, and Nazir's main point is, well, yeah, you have a lot of responsibilities, but your responsibilities are also to your family, and you pretty much have been shirking all those. Simon pretty much has enough, and he leaves. At the same time, another kind of weird tangent that seemingly, Tina and Sierra are trying to set up Jessica with this guy, Keith. Their banter is kind of clever for a few minutes, and until later on in the episode, it seems like Keith kind of has the Carol Ferris syndrome of just being completely fascinated by Green Lantern Jessica Cruz, and not really caring about the individual who happens to be that character, that superhero at all. It's like I'm just completely blinded by how they look in their suit and how they act. So that was a little so-so. The video of Simon and Jessica taking on the rock creature gets uploaded and people seeing it on the internet, and then there's also a little video of Simon and Jessica, kind of like building a snowman, with kids. And is it Simon's nephew? Was that nephew in that video? I don't remember anymore if had seen that previously.
I don't think so.
I thought they referenced only because I thought. No, those kids. Okay, I knew Nazir referenced it. I just didn't know if it was anything more personal. But somehow, them. I guess Simon, especially doing that good deed and just taking the time out, kind of like resonates a little bit with Nazir, of course, and his wife yelling at him, telling him that you need to get this resolved. Meanwhile, Simon and Jessica are kind of like mostly Simon's like flying around the earth, pretty much trying to avoid his responsibilities. And Jessica kind of catches up to him and says, you can't face your own best friend. And now all of a sudden Simon's ready for pancakes, and it's like, what do you think? So Simon goes back and basically takes his medicine. He and Nazir kind of talk it out, and I guess come to an understanding. Meanwhile, it seems like Simon's sister there has a serious donut issue. I guess she really should be kept away from sugar in high doses, which I guess is going to be even more bad news for Nazir later because she's on such a serious donut high. I kind of didn't like this whole little thing about Guy Gardner Light, that kid coming in and kind of like yelling at them for like where's the beer at and things like that, and then Jessica using the ring to kind of get back at him. It's not. I guess it's kind of cute, but I guess it's also kind of like abusing your powers unnecessarily. As they put a construct scorpion up the guy's leg and into his pants, so the guy literally, at least according to the story, has to take his pants off and go running off into the night in his underwear. Maybe it didn't have to be, but oh no. So now basically, Simon and Nazir kind of hug it out at the end as Nazir has to take his wife home and prepare for the maple glazed maniac to come down. They go back to have, Simon and Jessica go back, I guess, to have pancakes, and just as they're about to sit down again and have more of their pancakes, there's an emergency on planet Kyberuth, and it's like, damn. It's like, this is most definitely in space. You up for it? And she goes, yeah, I'm a Green Lantern. This is what Green Lanterns do. And then we have this little pseudo-cute banter, or supposed to be cute banter. You ready, partner? You know it, partner! Then they fly off into space.
Next, the Green Lantern's toughest challenge yet. Job hunt. Same with Sam Humphries. Oh, man. No, he wasn't that bad. I'm just giving him shit.
I know. I'm not going to come down on you at all because it's not like, I think we've been pretty much in unison about this run, his run overall. That's why it kind of struck me that you get all that vitriol coming out right away about Humphries. Let him burn him down. Let that heat flow through you.
I was just being,
I know.
What, sardonic? Is that the word?
Yeah.
No, but so you can clearly tell in one of those panels, a Nazir is standing in a tub, not a walk-in shower.
That'd be even worse.
And nice to see that other people don't invest in those stupid caddies and just set their shampoo and bars of soaps and stuff along the side of the rim.
I think
so.
You're right. You're right. I'm seeing that scene now. Well, I think, in all honesty, in a standard tub, unless you're gonna buy a corner piece.
Yeah, one of those corner pieces with the spring-loaded pole or whatever. Those never freaking work. They always slide off in the middle of the shower and hit you in the head. It's like, why the hell would I do that?
I do have a corner piece, but the suction cups do move or come off depending on which ones you have. But yeah, that is old school. So that even makes the reaction funnier but less natural. It's like standing in the corner of the room, maybe leaning against the wall, stepping into the goddamn tub. That's worse than the guy hopping up on the sink, which is asking a lot because you never know how much weight it can support. But
he might as well have just closed the curtain too.
Right.
I don't even want to look at you.
or close the curtain, taking his clothes off, and then turn the shower on. Am I gonna be stuck in here? Or at least I'm gonna make good use of it. Going out with a thud.
How old are Simon and Jessica and Nazir and them?
Well, isn't Jessica supposed to be like in her early 20s, mid 20s max?
I ask because you get all these adults or whatever, but then you get pictures of like when those people are gathered around the cell phone to watch the Green Lantern footage. Look out, hell yes, Green Lanterns. Those two rule so hard.
Yeah, they're all punk kids in that one. So
yeah, so like, how old are they supposed to be?
That is. But if it's just a house party, if it's just like a block party, then I guess that doesn't necessarily date them. If there's kids in the neighborhood, or they could still be in their mid-20s, and maybe the parents of these kids are like in their 30s. So I don't know. I think it's harder to tell, and of course the way these characters are drawn doesn't help because and speaking of which, the art in this issue is not particularly awe-inspiring. At least when they're not in Green Lantern uniforms. I don't think the art's particularly good. I don't think it's horrible when they're in their Green Lantern uniforms, especially Simon. I don't think it's horrible, but I don't like the way Simon and Jessica are drawn in this issue at all. Any of the human characters, I don't think they're drawn particularly well. I don't know. It was, again, like I kind of prefaced going in. This isn't the worst issue we've ever read. I mean, but it is kind of like your standard filler, and it's kind of hard to have a filler to end your run. I know it's trying to say. I know in a way it kind of resolves some. It does at least pseudo or temporarily maybe resolves some of the dynamics that Humphrey set into play, especially revolving around Simon and just Simon's family. Even though it's kind of funny in the next couple of issues, it kind of becomes clear that there are a lot of issues with Simon's family that still aren't resolved. But it's okay, but it's not like it's a thrilling read, and it's not like it's not like people really care all that much about what's going on in this. I mean, it's like. And it's a fine line when you're trying to have establish a personal life for these characters. It is kind of hard. I mean, it's naturally going to be less thrilling than their professional lives, but so I guess it has to be done to be somewhat realistic. But I just don't know if this was the way to do it.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about the issue, quite honestly. I mean, there's really nothing here for me. And I'm not trying to be rude or overhype or overplay my hand when I'm just joking around about Humphreys, but like, I'm not really impressed by this. I do like downtime issues sometimes, so I will say that it's good that we have that, but I don't know. It's just like, it's not an issue that works for me, but I am glad it exists, I guess, is what I'm saying.
No, I understand.
All right then. Do you have anything else you want to say about it?
No, it would have been. It's dangerous to say this. I could have been. This means change my word. I was going to say it would have been. Let's say it could have been interesting if Humphreys had stayed on this book, like maybe another 20-something issues, to see how he would have delved into more of the Volthoom, more of the Raimi stuff, to see how even Frank and the Phantom Lantern stuff, because clearly, at least based on everything we've seen so far through in the Seeley run, that, and plus what he's already said, that we're probably not going to be revisiting those characters or those plot points anytime soon. So, and that was the best part to me of Humphrey's run, those things. So, it is kind of, I'm not going to say it's bittersweet, because I don't think neither one of us were not loving his book. We thought there were good things in it and there, but as we'll find out, the Seeley stuff isn't off to a bad start. It's just we got to see where it goes. Once everything gets settled, we'll have to see if it's. And at the end of the day, he still has the unfortunate burden of writing a book about two characters that many people feel shouldn't be carrying a book to begin with, and that's ultimately probably going to be the ultimate albatross for anybody who writes this book. Is that most Green Lantern fans don't think there should be a title about Jessica and Simon. So that's a hard thing to. But that's about it.
All right. Green Lanterns number 33, work release part 1. I'm actually going to review 33 and 34, or rather recap 33 and 34, the entirety of the work release story arc together before we do our recap of it. Our review of it. So this particular story arc is the beginning of our new creative team. We have Tim Seeley as our writer, Eduardo Panseca as our pencils, inks by Julio Ferreira, colorist Alex Salazzo, letterer Dave Sharp, cover by Ricardo Federici and Tomel Mori, variant cover by Brandon Peterson, assistant editor Andrew Marino, and my editor Mike Cotton. Let's see here. So we open up with an alert from John Stewart. Sector 2814, priority distress call from Central Battery Command. This is Corps Leader John Stewart. The Star and Mortilam 27 system is approaching supernova's Type 2 stage. All life on its solitary inhabited planet C873, aka Mole, MOL, is endangered. Simon says, Supernova John, seems kind of late now, doesn't it? What were you guys up to the other 100 million years? Life on Mole is subterranean and was only recently discovered by an Ungaran exploratory team. So they respond, show up, and are about to start doing their thing. Then we cut back to last week in Oregon, where Jessica is going to her therapy session, in which her therapist at the very end says, you're adjusting pretty well, but I think it's time you should get a job. Then back over on Mole today, we see Simon and Jessica realizing the gravity of the situation. And,
you're clever.
and saying they got to get out of there pretty quick. But the Molites live basically 3.8 miles underneath their present location, so they go swimming through the magma to get down to the bottom. And as they're on their way, we cut back to Dearborn, Michigan last week. Simon is in the garage tinkering with an engine, and his sister Sierra comes upon him and says, what the hell happened to all the laundry we were supposed to do? And, well, with all the stuff going on, I didn't have time. She's like, but you did have time to play with your toys. But it's not a toy, it's an engine. And once I get this done, and she said it'll be even louder excuse. It's just like this when you were kids. You know, if you don't want to do what little I ask of you, that's fine. But I don't think I can continue to let you be a poor example for your nephew. You're going to have to contribute. You need to get a job. He's like, I'm the friggin' interstellar protector of Sector 2814. Get a job that pays rent. Find something, Simon, or I'm going to have to ask you to find another place to live. Back over in outside the planet Mole, we see an Ungaran ship waiting above the surface in space to receive all the Molites for essentially an extraction plan. We see Regent Athene Vok, and she brought her daughter along, Lizeth, to kind of show what the Ungarans can do. Basically, they say, all of Ungara owes a great debt to the Guardians and the Green Lantern Corps. My world's Avon Sir bequeath his ring to your Earth's Hal Jordan, ensuring our two planets are forever intertwined. We are here to receive you. Are the Molites ready for embarkment? And Jessica says they will be, as soon as we can convince them not to die. And Simon and Jessica are pleading with their pod father, Vob.
I like that, pod
father. Basically to get the hell out of there. But he says, no, this is our world. This is essentially our God. It birthed us, and we will die alongside it. Essentially, that's the will of their God. We cut back to Portland, Oregon 2 days ago.
The lovely Stump Cafe. That's a place that's what I'd want to hang out in.
I'm going to have to look that up because I've been to Portland, and that doesn't sound like a unrealistic name.
It probably is unrealistic. I'm just saying it's not an attractive name, the lovely Stump.
But anyway, so Jessica is there on an interview. She's going through. He notices that there's a 4-year gap in her resume, so she explains all that, which is definitely what a hiring manager wants to hear. And then we come back over to Mole, where Jessica is keeping the ceiling from collapsing in while Simon tries to plead with them. And Jessica says, can't we just, politely force these people to get out of here? No can do, Jay Bird. The prime directive. Code 8912 expressly forbids the violation of indigenous religious beliefs in service of a rescue or okay, I get it, geez. Communicates with Regent Vok on the Ungaran ship, and right as she does, the ship is not attacked, but the sun that's going supernova emits some gamma rays and high energy particles that kind of break apart part of the ship. The shields fail, so on and so forth. We cut back we cut back to Earth 2 days ago in Detroit, Michigan, where Simon is on a job interview to become part of a pit crew. And he's explaining his situation in terms of the quote-unquote misunderstanding about him being a terrorist and so on and so forth. Back on Mole, Simon flies off to help the Ungarans, while Jessica tries to convince the Moleites to get the hell out of there. The ceiling collapses even further, and she keeps it and essentially says, Jess, you are dangerously close to straining the weight limit for an emerald construct. How much am I holding? 1/8 of the planet mass of Maul. Approximately 1.5 times 10 to the 23rd kilograms, or 40 sextillion Thanksgiving turkeys. Simon tries to, he gets up to the Ungaran ship, and he sees that, for the most part, everybody's okay except for Lizeth, which is, Regent Vox's daughter. She's been mortally wounded, and she's singing her little song as she's about to pass away, and it says, next, the weight of the world. Green Lanterns 34 picks up where we left off, with the same creative team. John and Salak are checking in to see what's going on. Jessica updates him, saying,
different artist, by the way.
Oh yeah, different artist, Ronan Claquette, with colorist Hi-Fi. Work release part 2. She's updating on what's going on. Then back at the lovely stump. The lovely stump. In Portland, Oregon. Yesterday, Jessica's been called back for, I guess, a second interview, and saying, instead of being a waitress, we're going to have you start slow, and you're going to work in the kitchen for a bit. Then back aboard the military transport, we learn that in about 128 seconds, Lizeth is going to die. So since Regent Fox says, I requested she accompany me on this mission, I issued the order to advance. I'm responsible for her death. Commodore, you will complete the mission. I will join my child in the worlds unknown. And she's about to, what's that? Is it called Harry Carey?
Yeah,
is that it?
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Commit Harry Carey, and he's like, no, you don't have to die, and neither does your daughter. He uses his kind of magic healing powers, which we still don't know how the hell that works, and this is issue 34, but whatever. We won't put that on Tim Seeley just yet. And magically heals the Zeth. And she's like, well, you shouldn't have been able to do that. I'm different. Why? I don't know. Try not to think too much about it. Sometimes
neither do we.
Yeah, supposedly. Sometimes I figure maybe I'm special, but mostly I think maybe it's the ring trying to make up for all the pain I've caused. Come on, we've got a job to do. Then yesterday in Dearborn, Michigan, Simon is called back, but this time he's being turned down because to make a pit crew work, you need people who move together like one cohesive unit. To do that, you need speed, sure, but more than that, you need trust. With your record, well, it doesn't matter whether or not you had any part of terrorism or not. It's just like you said. My guys look you up. They see that word. They see the tattoo on your forearm. I asked you to come here because I thought it would be cowardly to tell you that by phone. I'm not proud, but that's the way it is. And I wanted to give you this season pass. Come on down to see us watch us anytime.
Just keep your distance. No.
Yeah. And here's a restraining order. Watch from outside the fence.
Bleach your seats. Nosebleeds.
Planet Mole, the ceiling is collapsing in even more. The Podfather is telling Jessica to stop saving them. Simon communicates with her, and we're gonna need to shuttle the Moleites off world because the ship was damaged too far to get down onto the planet to carry them off. And Jessica says, ring maintain constructs. Amp my voice. Hey, listen up. I know you think your world wants you to die along with it. You think you have to abide by that to honor the gifts it's given you. But here's the thing, maybe you're just interpreting it wrong. What if the core above wants you to honor it by surviving? What if it doesn't want your faith to bind you to this planet? What if it wants you to spread your love for the world that birthed you across the universe? Don't disappoint the core. It sheltered you for too long to let you die. You need to let me help you. You need to help yourself. Let the rope that binds you be used as a lifeline. And Simon says that was the cheesiest thing I've ever heard. But it works, and they shuttle the Molites off world and into the ship. The regent tells her daughter Lizeth, this is what we're here for. Abin Sur showed us there's a new way. He was a champion for us all, for the universe, and when he died, he passed his legacy onto another Hal Jordan of Earth. Now when we follow Abin Sur's lead, we must share our power with the universe. We must be a champion for all. When my generation passes, you will take up our legacy, Lizeth. You are the future of Ungara. Cut back over to Ungara, and Lizeth is holding a concert. She's actually a famous singer on their planet. And Simon and Jessica are backstage with Podfather, with the Podfather. And Simon and Jessica say their parting words, and Lizeth comes and gives Simon a hug, says, "Thank you for healing me. And maybe when you come back, I can thank you more properly."
That's the highlight of the whole issue for Simon. Or should be, anyway.
Which he says, "Hey, not bad for a guy who can't get a job, huh?" to Jessica on their way out. She says, "I'm sorry, you were so excited. Out here, we're beings who overcome great fear to battle back evil's might with emerald light, no matter how bright the day or how dark the night. Back home, we're two brown people with bad resumes." And then over in some back alleys in Ungara, somebody, Commodore Peist, whatever.
Dead. Commodore Dead.
Yeah, Commodore Dead. Meets someone called Kesh Kerr. Says, "You had another job, Commodore. Instead, those disgusting pod people take up land, water, and oxygen meant for the proud people of Ungara." He says, "I'm sorry. We tried. We planted a virus in the SHIELD computers, but the Lantern stepped in. It's not our fault, but we can use this to our advantage. We can use this to show the people that all of Ungara's ills are the fault of the Green Lantern Corps." And he says, "All right," and then shoots him in the head. "Thank you for your dedication to the cause." And then over in Dearborn, Simon and Sierra are talking over the phone. Simon has moved out, and he is living in the Lantern Sector house in 2814. And Jessica sets an alarm on her ring to go to sleep. Just 'cause she's got to go to work. And she says, "It's something they can focus on other than my anxiety, and more importantly, it's a responsibility other than being a Green Lantern. No offense, Ring. It'd be kind of nice to do something without you for once." And then, of course, Jessica, she's asleep and some green energy comes out of the ring and hovers above her.
Yeah, that's kind of.
And then over.
That's kind of.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And then over in a used car lot, we see Bolfunga hollering at a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube bab. And he says, "You dare smile and carry on with your insipid joy dance? Then face the full and fearsome fury of Bolfunga the Unrelenting." And then next, the Ballad of Bolfunga.
Which is an interesting arc, though I don't necessarily know if I like their take on Bolfunga.
Me neither.
But I only read the first 2/3 so far, and it's an interesting read. But like we'll get into it, like we just kind of talked about, essentially that they do a little Jeff conning of who Bolfunga is and everything, and that part I don't like. But focusing on 33 and 34,
I like that we're doing 2814 stuff, and I like that we have that of all things Tim Seeley chose to work with Ungara.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool. I liked 33 more than 34 because I think.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, I like the art a lot better. I like the art in the art in 33. I thought there was a lot more detail in the art. I actually thought Simon and Jessica, while they look a little different, Simon looks more different. But based on their ethnicity, I think those characters are drawn more like how they really should look. Even when Simon's talking with Sierra on that part in Michigan and when he's working on the engine, I think they are more accurately portrayed. Now, I kind of hate the idea of Jessica's therapist looking like she's 10 years younger than Jessica. That kind of bothered me. I hate to use millennial, but she kind of looks like she's like barely 20-year-old therapist is what she kind of looks like. But she's drawn.
She looks like your typical chick in Portland.
I was also going to be fair, I was going to throw that in, the fact that she's not necessarily dressed inappropriately for where she lives, but it's and she's beautifully drawn. I mean, she's attractive. The way she's drawn is beautiful in general, but so I just didn't like. I think she could have looked a little older, but maybe just that's kind of what they were going for. Maybe more like a peer kind of thing, or just the fact that Jessica's kind of I don't know. But either way, I just think the art is really good. I thought even with the stuff with the Ungarans and everything, and and the Molites, the Molish, the Molarians, they're cute. Yeah, I thought the artwork in general was really good in 33. So I think that to me that's a big plus.
What do you think of the Prime Directive type of storyline here?
It's not really surprising on one level. I mean, you can make a case that there should be protocols. But I guess it's ultimately respecting individual choices. I mean, I think it might be different if the people were screaming to get off the planet and the leader was saying, no, you have to stay and die. Then that might be something different, where then the ring would not, there might be protocols to deal with that. But if everybody collectively wants to stay where they are and die, it's kind of hard to go against their collective will, no pun intended, to take them off world. I did, even though on some level it was a little heavy-handed, I did kind of like the way the lessons that both the Jessica and Simon were learning in their little personal lives and their therapy session and interviews and conversations with their relatives and blah, 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 that all that stuff kind of ties into like the end of the arc, especially with Jessica, using some of her own therapist lines to convince the Molites that it's time to get out of Dodge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was interesting. Like I said, my primary reason for enjoying it was the fact that we're working with Ungara. I do like. It felt a little bit slow, just in terms of how long Jessica's holding everything up from collapsing and so on and so forth. I don't like always having to come back to xenophobia as a plot device.
Yeah.
I mean, we get that a lot on places like Kurgar or Daxam, but to see it happening on Ungara, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like there should be a place in the universe that's free of of all bigotry or whatever. Every place has their problems the same way we do. But it seems like more often than not, when we're involved with an alien planet, telling a storyline involving alien peoples, we always come somehow back to xenophobia as the main issue. And it's just like, I kind of seen that done so many different ways, especially within the Green Lantern titles in the past, not just, in recent memory, but it's happened several times before. With older Green Lantern stories, it's just kind of a pain that we have to keep coming down this well-worn path, albeit well-worn on other planets, but still, we've addressed this before. Can we figure something else out? Not some plot to overthrow the rulers.
Yeah.
Or,
at least on the bright side, hopefully, at least as of now, we're just hoping that, and you have to have his name has to be Kerr, so you have to throw the dog in his name to make us automatically know the guy's bad. that at least we don't. It doesn't look like at the moment, as far as I know, because I'm one issue behind. That doesn't look like he's related to Abin Sur. So as long as he's not related to Abin Sur, at least we're not kind of like going down that, and kind of like that whole road again, like we did with whatever his name was. What was it? What was the hell was his son's name? Ammon
Amon Sur.
Yeah. At least we're not going down, that road again with like where it becomes so much more relevant because they're kind of like they're related to a character that we care about, and this new character is trying to crap on his legacy too. But I know what you mean. I agree. I think when I read that part at the end of the issue, I wasn't really thrilled with that either.
But other than that, I do. I don't. It's. I guess it's kind of a spoiler. But given where they go with the Lizeth character, based on issues that have already come out, it's interesting that they took the time to make us like her so much here. To be fair, they don't do a out and out 180. They're hinting at things in issues to come down the line. But I do like that that in this case, just be on the sheer fact that we're not so far behind, but we're behind the way we are. Reviewing these now, knowing where things are headed, it's just interesting to see the amount of time we invest in getting to know this character positively, her upbringing, who she had influencing her life, and so on and so forth, and yet see and learn some of the things about her personally and her viewpoints that we learn later on. So that's interesting to me. I don't know if you've read or know what I'm referring to, but
I'm kind of guessing most of that is in the one issue I didn't get, right?
I don't know what issue it's in. It's one of the more recent ones.
Because I didn't remember picking up on a lot of Lizeth stuff in the first two parts of Bullfunga, but maybe I overlooked it. But
Yeah.
I'll go back and I'll wait till once. Well, obviously I'll have to reread it soon anyway because we'll be doing the Bullfunga arc. So once I pick up the final part, then I'll go back and. But maybe the cover of 34, the standard cover, kind of gives you the hint of beware Lizeth, she's going to steal your heart. Maybe they're kind of implying right there that there's a problem with her. Because that's the way I took it. As soon as I saw that, it's like, oh, she's not going to be a good character, but yet there's nothing really in the issues up to that point that made you think that she was going to be a problem.
Right, which I like. This is what I'm pointing out. Yeah. But otherwise, I don't have much else to say about this. I do think it's a good start for Tim Seeley. Given what you were saying earlier in terms of, these are two lanterns that nobody really cares about. It's nice.
I mean, in general terms, we care a little, but I know what you mean. I don't want, but I just don't want to make it. I know it's essentially what I said. But I just don't want to make it. I just want to make it clear that it's not. It just seems that in the big picture, they would be pretty low on people's lists, especially if we were going to have a second book. These would not be the two characters people would be voting to put probably either one in a book or a team book, let alone So, but yeah.
But regardless, I think it's a good way to get his feet wet. Just tell a 2814 story. Just to have the Green Lanterns that you have in your book do what Green Lanterns are supposed to do. You don't have to kick off some huge arc or anything, but just get your feet wet by telling this story. I like that.
Yeah, I like the arc. I think, all things being equal, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So.
For sure. All right. Do you have anything else to say before we
wrap
talk
up?
About whatever we want to wrap up? Talk about whatever we want to talk about, I guess.
Oh, you mean anything more about these issues?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's why you were saying. No, I think overall, it was a relatively smooth transition, at least at this point, into the into the Seeley run. As it plays out, like I said, I think we're going to see more of the fact that a lot of the stuff that clearly was important to Humphreys as far as the overarching concepts and characters he wanted to deal with, besides Simon and Jessica, of course, that these are going to be things that Seeley really doesn't care about. And that may not maybe it makes the book better, maybe it'll be for the better in the long run too, because by the time we pick up back on some of these points, maybe it'll make it worth the wait. The fact that we're having a little break from it might make it better. But I think overall, yeah, I think he is hit the ground running for the most part, and it's even the Bullfunga thing. Even though we'll obviously Chad and I seemingly are kind of like on the same page, I think, about some of the issues we're gonna have with those issues. But at least it was, again, it's an entertaining arc, and it's a little it's kind of a little different. So I think so far that's not exactly a bad thing.
Not at all. You had some other stuff you wanted to transition into?
Yeah, just ever so briefly, especially since we spent friggin' like 2 hours talking about Star Wars last week. The only thing I want to talk about with Star Wars, it's actually related to, and we can tie it into Green Lantern pretty easily too, is that Chad and I, it's kind of, maybe it's even more appropriate because, not that I knew you were gonna, jokingly, but that you were gonna kind of like be ripping Humphreys a new one a couple of points in this episode. And you've said it eloquently before, and we were on the same page about it, that if there's something going on in these books that we don't like, it doesn't mean that we're not fans, or we don't go from being fans to fans inside Air Bunnies because all of a sudden we don't like, the current direction of the franchise or the brand or whatever. Now I don't think we've gotten a lot of heat from that, mostly because by luck of the draw, our opinion right now seems to, I guess, for the most part, when it comes to let's say the Rebirth era, DC Rebirth era, I think it seems like most people are kind of in agreement with us. The consensus opinion probably is more on our side than, oh yeah, this stuff is great. But the point is that it's still an opinion, and even if we were taking the opposite view of what the majority were thinking, it doesn't mean we're any less fans, or doesn't mean we're haters, or it doesn't mean we hate we hate our property. It doesn't change our view on, we still love Green Lantern, we just don't happen to like this arc or this run or whatever. And the reason why that's relevant is because to me, Chad said something to me before, which kind of like made me feel better in a way, just because it kind of justified why I wanted to bring this up. That when it comes to Last Jedi, clearly, the one thing that there's not a lot of agreement out there about this movie, but the one thing that probably should be in agreement, at least objectively speaking, is that the movie is relatively divisive, and just because of the fact that some people like it, some people don't like it. There seems to be a pretty vocal side defending it, a pretty vocal side attacking it. But overall, especially if you look at just the audience, like you look at the audience score numbers, just using and Rotten Tomatoes isn't the only one. But if you look at comparing the audience score for, there's a Rotten Tomatoes on Last Jedi is a 51, and the audience score was 88 for Force Awakens. And the critic score for Force Awakens was only 93. So pretty much they were almost in, lock and step, the audience and the fans. And the audience and the critics, for Force Awakens. And that clearly, for whatever reason, it's not the case for Last Jedi. That's fine. The basic point is, you can have different opinions, and it doesn't mean that side A is absolutely wrong, or side A, they're idiots, and so let's attack everybody who doesn't agree with us, destroy the messenger, so that means their message is irrelevant, because we see a lot of that in society in general today, whether it's politics or other stuff. It's like, oh, we can't, we love opinions as long as they agree with us, and then if not, then oh my God, then they hate us, or we hate them and they should shut up, or there's a conspiracy. Now there's either a conspiracy on one side, the critics are propping this movie up or tearing it down, depending what movie it is, or there's a conspiracy posting negative reviews for Last Jedi, which doesn't make a lot of sense, because you would have to have a core of your audience would really want to hate your franchise, they hate the franchise that they're supposedly fans of. I'm not saying there aren't some fringe people that just want to make it look, but I think Chad and I have both seen enough comments on social media to know there's a lot of people that like it, there's a lot of people that don't like it, and there's the extremes, people who think it's the greatest thing ever made, the people who think there's nothing good in it. Chad and I think are kind of like, we're in the middle on opposite sides, but we're kind of in the middle. Chad likes it but had issues with it. I liked it. I mean, I didn't like it overall, and I'm seeing it again tomorrow, so maybe my opinion will change a little. I didn't like it, but I saw some good in it. But either way, it's opinions. And it doesn't make you less of a fan if you actually went in and liked this movie and you didn't like it. It's just, and a lot of it comes from perspective, like Dan said. If Dan had a different perspective on the franchise than I did based on his viewing habits and his age. He's closer to you in age, but you had a different viewing habit of Star Wars too, so you're not attached to the prequels at all, but you were really attached to the original 3. So depending on what you're bringing to the table, that will greatly influence maybe how you view the movie, and that's part of art. You kind of what you're bringing in also influences what you're getting out of it. So I just think people just need to remember that it's okay to have differing opinions, and just because somebody doesn't like something, they have a right not to like it. It doesn't mean they're necessarily haters. It doesn't mean they're necessarily wrong. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily right. It just means that they have differing opinions. I mean,
you have a right to express your viewpoint, people, but like, if you hated The Force Awakens, your job, not The Force Awakens, if you hated The Force Jedi, the Last Jedi, your job isn't to make everybody else hate it. If you liked The Last Jedi, your job isn't to make everybody else like it. If you want to talk about it and explain why you like it or why you hate it, that's totally fine. But if they hate it and you like it, who cares?
Right. Very nicely put. Because, we just have to move beyond just always, if Group B doesn't agree with us, then there's something wrong with Group B. We hate Group B. Their opinions don't matter. They're idiots anyway, so who cares? It's like, hey, the reality is, like I said, this movie, it's a lot of, it's brought out a lot of strong opinions. And if nothing else, it's a movie that, from a Star Wars perspective, that people are going to be talking about, and probably for a while, because of how the reaction has been different and how it is divisive. And I don't mean that it's necessarily was designed always to be divisive, though clearly Rian Johnson did kind of want to throw upend the apple cart by design going in, based on some of the things that he said, dealing with certain characters. But still, the point is, it's just the way it is. Not everything is going to. People take different things out of it. When Terminator Genisys came out, I loved Terminator Genisys. Almost everybody I went to see Terminator Genisys with really, really liked it. But a lot of people hated Terminator Genisys, and a lot of people said, "Oh, it's crap," and blah blah blah. It's like, and I could point out, why I liked it, but they have a right to not like it or not get it. Some people with like Terminator, some people, anything that Jim Cameron didn't direct, they were not going to like anyway, or they thought that was the real end to the series, and nothing else really should have been done. And that's not the only reason not to like any of the movies that have followed or be selectively dislike. But that's another mindset. Some people think like that's some people's perspective, and that's fine. You're never going to please anybody. And yes, we all love to, deep down, we all love to be in the majority. We all love to have people pat us on the back and say, yeah, we agree with you, or at least the people whose opinions and the people you care about to have their opinions, match yours, because it kind of validates you. Yeah, it's human nature to want that, but there's going to be people that disagree with you. You can have healthy debate about something, and make the pro and con on it. But don't make it personal, and don't think that, just because somebody doesn't agree with you, they're wrong, or just because they agree with you, that just proves that the other side's, completely wrong, or the other person arguing against me is an idiot. It's just be civil, be respectful, be adult. That's pretty much, I guess, the gist of all this.
Works for me.
Works for me, too.
All right, guys, this is the last episode of 2017, and next episode will be our first episode of 2018. We've got a lot of cool stuff planned, including crossovers with podcasts we've talked about on the show relatively recently. And our first episode of the new year will be one that's not unfamiliar to you when we begin a new year. We're going to be talking about our top 5 movies we're looking forward to in 2018, which it sounds like this is a popular topic for us based on, the amount of different people that bring it up in like episode 300 and so on and so forth. So,
which is good. I mean, I like the fact that, again, talking about, opinion, whether it's majority or minority. It's good that at least some people enjoy. I mean, it's good that some people enjoy when we go out, move beyond outside the box, because as we've talked about before, sometimes we have to do that. We like to talk. Obviously, it's a Green Lantern podcast, so 90% of what we talk about is going to be related to Green Lantern. 9 out of every 10 episodes, at least, is going to be Green Lantern based on some way, shape, or form. But it's healthy to be able to do stuff that we want to do, and we have other interests, and it seems like it's kind of like a nice tradition, and we started it, and it's good to know that at least as far as the founding fathers of the LanternCast go, they appreciate it when we kind of do topics like that. I think at least partly because, again, anything that we're passionate about helps. I think that makes for a better episode. So I think it doesn't have to be ranting, but anything we're passionate about it's a fun episode to always look forward to. And I think this one, from just based on just initial banter between Chad and I think this one should be an interesting episode because I think that our top 5 list might surprise people, and I think there's going to be a whole lot of stuff kind of like sandwiched in the middle for us this year. I think there's going to be a lot. There's going to be maybe. I can't guarantee there'll be less stuff that we absolutely are not looking forward to on the monkey crap list, but I don't think for me personally, I think it's going to be much harder to get a top 5. When, like last year especially, it was definitely, I think it was a top 10, and then it was like whichever ones Chad didn't want, or we traded off some movies so he would have some and I would. This year I think is going to be very different, so I think it'll should make for a more entertaining. Well, hopefully it'll make for an entertaining. I can't promise it'll be more entertaining, but it should be entertaining.
For sure. So in preparation for that episode, take a look at the movies coming out in 2018. Maybe tweet us your own personal top 5 lists. Or I know I've already completed all my work for that episode. I've got a printed out list and got my top 5, my list of alternates that I'm interested in. Just didn't make the top 5. I've got my 3 pounds of monkey crap list, which the way I've always interpreted that, and I don't know if Mark interprets it the same way, but the way I've always interpreted it is movies I really don't care that much about, but will probably end up seeing anyways in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and for me, that it's usually there is any criteria to it, it's usually these are movies that I have absolutely no interest in seeing, and probably am not going to see, at least in the theater. Probably there may be on occasion there may be something like I think Deadpool may have made my list. If not, if it didn't make my list, the original, it was in the middle of the road. It was on the verge of it. But if Deadpool did make my monkey crap list, it kind of was something I knew I was going to see. So I think that there probably have been, just looking back objectively, I'm sure there have been movies on my list that I probably knew I was going to see or ended up seeing. But I think usually my criteria is stuff like, as an example, like Bumblebee. There's no way on God's green earth I'm going to see Bumblebee in the theater. So that might make the monkey crap list, and if it does, that's why I would make it, because I have absolute no interest in seeing that movie in the theater. But so, given the choice, if all things were equal, I will pick the ones that I absolutely have no interest in the fact that they even exist. Those will probably be the ones the most likely to make that list.
But that's a little sneak peek at 2018, and like I said, send us your lists in advance, and maybe we can talk a bit about that on the show, depending on how long that episode goes. And we got some stuff planned for 2018. We're already talking with other people about JL May down the line. I'm not saying what topic that is this year. I'm not going to spoil somebody else's idea, but we are going to be a part of JL May this year. We do have other crossovers with other podcasts planned, and we're, of course, always working and looking for new topics. So we will talk to you guys in the coming year, and in the meantime, thanks for listening, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.